I were in a entrepreneurial book club where Stephanie never read the right book. And
Stephanie was terrible at this book club.
I really sucked at book club.
I did
Fabulous. What?
I just had a visual. I just had a visual.
I was proud of it. Hello and good morning on a Monday. Elijah, thank you so much. I know being in academia and dealing with Monday mornings could also be tricky.
Tricky for all of us on a Monday, but more so when you have a lot of teenagers. But so I don't know how parents do it.
Right. I've only got one left at home and it's kind of nice, but I can only imagine what he's like at school.
Well, that's why I have two dogs. You know, they're happy to see me and then they will go back to sleep.
You're safer. So we've got Elijah Langille, and you're the music director at Barnstable High School.
Yeah. The official title is the Performing Arts Director for grades 6 through 12, and I have a counterpart over at our elementary schools, and we do all things performing in Barnstable. And you might even hear while we're talking right now, there's a chorus class going on in the other room, and they're doing some Alexander Hamilton stuff. So it's there's always something going on.
How do you choose your programming? I mean, there's so many fun things out there. Do you let the kids dictate sometimes some of the things that they're interested in?
Well, you have to. I mean, if kids are excited about doing something, you have to harness that energy. Now with parameters, right? With all everything with kids, you give them parameters or you try to kind of guide them because you never know what they're going to say or bring up. But a lot of times they'll come up and they almost have their business plan and they say we've been talking, we've all voted, and I'm like, wow, I didn't realize this was a democracy. But yeah,
right. I can only imagine the things that you hear. Good morning, Miss Angie. Thanks for joining us on the show. We've got Elijah from Barnstable High School here, and he's just talking about some of the programming in the performance arts department. And you got a big show coming up.
Yeah, we do. I'm really excited about our Encore Night. The coolest thing about this was that this was before Christmas time. We have this really growing program, right? We're one of the few programs on Cape Cod and actually in Massachusetts that has a growing performing arts program, right? And we were all talking, and we have this cool rock band class that kind of has just happened, and they're actually really good. Like I was talking to the director of that group, and I said, "These kids actually sound good." And I was like, "I know, this is amazing." So we were talking. We have also an amazing music production program where kids are making beats, doing recording, and we've actually had a lot of alumni coming back recently. Some who are producers in LA who are flying over and doing some really cool music on Cape Cod and around the country. And we were saying, how do we showcase this? And then at the same time, I get a phone call in this office, and it was the Mark Hennessy Foundation reaching out saying, hey, we've never talked before, but we're this and that, and this is our mission. I didn't know about them, the great work they do on Cape Cod. They said, is there any way we can help you? And I was like, is this, where are the cameras here? Am I being
right?
caught?
I'm being punked. Do you want to give me money and help me? That's
exactly.
weird.
Yeah. Likely story, right? Usually people just want to donate their old pianos to us, which is fine too. I understand that, but it's like, usually they're like, well, you'll have to climb 5 flights of stairs and, get your
damn pianos.
But we are thankful that people think of us, but it's funny. So no, they came in, everyone for Mark Hennessy, and we had just a really great conversation. And this Encore Night is going to mix our rock band classes, playing, performing their stuff. Mark Hennessy, was able to reach out and get Nikki and the Barn Boys. And the cool thing about that is, because this is an educational scope, is that they're going to come in and give a master class with some of our students. They get to hang out all day here at the school, and then they'll perform afterwards. So this isn't just hey, they're going to come by and play and do their set. They're going to talk to the kids about the nuts and bolts of working together, problem solving. How do you work in a band? How do you critique one another without crying or, flipping the drum set over, right?
It's all the stuff that they don't really know, the back end of the business, which I think has never really been taught. It's all the glitz and the glam of that fame moment, but having the conversation about it. Real quickly, I just want to go over the Mark Hennessy Foundation. Mark was just a beloved musician here on the Cape, whether you saw him in the Slackers, whether you saw him with the Hennessy brothers, Hen House, Tequila, on. I mean, there you can go on and on about what a musician and what an amazing human being he is. And Amy Carroll has done a really good job of putting this foundation together. Jen Dow is involved, Steph Salata. There are so many other people that are involved, and I want to give people so much credit for making sure that it pushes his mission of the music never stops, and musicians shouldn't have to sell their stuff, or just being able to get through whatever it is a musician needs, and they're there for that. This foundation is just incredible. Good morning, Miss Cindy. Thanks for joining us. We're talking to Elijah, who is the performing arts director at Barnstable High, about this new show that's coming out. It's Encore Night, and it's coming up this week. Fast and Furious. Tickets are only $10. And Nikki and the Barn Boys, I'm just fascinated by what she has created here on the Cape. She goes to Salem State. My daughter also is at Salem. So I'm like, oh, it's our little girl. But also just an incredible musician.
No, it's going to be absolutely fantastic, and it's going to be great music. It's going to be a good time. We're doing it in our our smaller theater, the Night Hall, just to give kids more of a chance to have it feel more intimate.
Yep.
And the cool thing is having them even just put sound together, carry schluff, amps and things like that, and really start to have a performance mindset. What I always tell our students, even in grades 6 through 12, is if we're going to do something, we should, one, do it at the best that we can, right? I mean, we're still working with children here, but we do it the best that we can. But also, how are we working together, right? My favorite thing in the beginning of the year, everyone has their new shoes on that aren't broken in, and that they're all sweaty because it's September, and
Right, their
it's
sweaters.
still summertime. Exactly, right. But we throw them into these classes and we have them work together, and they stare at each other and they don't know how to talk. They're like, they're all these individuals that, well, we have to start coaching them how to have conversations and critically speak to one another to be able to put a show together. I mean, think about a show that you go to, or even, with Nikki and the Barn Boys, and they put on this great set. That didn't just happen. They
Right.
didn't just noodle around. It really took some creative talking, but also talking that you don't take things personally. And that's really important, I think, for our students to learn is that, we can converse respectfully, but also critique each other to come up and have this great experience. So this is going to be a great concert. We have some other alumni coming too, like Carlito and AK Tokyo. They're more on the rap side of things, and it's going to be a mishmash of just a really, really cool night. And we do a lot of stuff throughout the year. This is one that I'm really looking forward to. It's only going to be at about an hour and 15, and it's going to be a good time.
I love the fact that you're saying that, though, because I think it's so important. I think our kids get so wrapped up in that perfection, so wrapped up in the end product. I love the fact that you're going through and having that conversation, and the master class involved in this is, once again, yes, it's education.
Well, and I'm glad that they're willing to do that, to use their time, and I'm glad that the Mark Hennessy Foundation was excited about having that be part of the component, because, whether we like it or not, the next generation is the next generation, and it's stewardship, right? Whether it's music, whether you're a carpenter, I think you have to pass those skills on, and our goal here in the Performing Arts Department is to give kids the training that they need to succeed, no matter if they want to be an engineer, they want to be a doctor. Actually, just on a side note, we had this alumni concert in August, and we had alumni from the past almost 40 years come and put on a show and a concert. And I was floored. We had a surgeon from Brigham and Women's Hospital was here, this and that, and they all talked about how getting to play together made them a better a better supervisor, or a better doctor, or a better mechanic, everything with these conversations over that weekend. And it really solidified it in me that how are we preparing our students, and that everybody in Barnstable and beyond deserves to have these experiences, right? So
Yeah.
our department is focused on that. Wherever our kids go, they're going to be rocking together. It's going to be a good time, but we're also going to push them, and they're going to use those skills no matter where they go in life.
Thank you very much, Derek, for checking in. Emily, hi, hello. Rosaline, Cindy, we're just so glad that you're here and watching this conversation with us today. Elijah's just talking a little bit about some of the soft skills that these kids are developing for a lifetime of learning, right? It's not just this fun, cool rock band and this fun 1 hour production that they get to put on. It's all of the things that they're putting together and learning the uncomfortable parts about performing. Sometimes it's not a great performance. I love the fact that you said these kids are good though.
Well, they are. Well, the funny thing is the kids kind of can be like a rash. They never leave, and I mean that with all my love of my heart. This
I
is coming
know.
from 10 years of teaching, right? But the thing is they sneak in here, and you can work here late sometimes, and I'll hear like they'll be in a corner of this building rocking. And they want to keep playing. They stay after school, they come together, and they're writing their own music. And a couple we'll do a lot of covers on Thursday. Couple of the pieces the kids wrote themselves. And sometimes I'm a half glass full type of guy. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just saying it, just throwing it out there. And these kids, they say, well, we wrote some music and we want to perform. And I said, okay, all right, well, let me see it. I don't know. I mean, look at guys, this is a performance for the community. And they played it. And I said, oh wow, this is actually not that bad.
Adding it to the show. We're adding it to the show.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm proud of them. They had a goal. They put it together. They worked hard, and they got a lot going on. I mean, these kids are kids taking all these advanced placement classes. Some of them work 2 jobs.
Yeah.
They're on swim team. And they make it a priority. And I always say to our students and to our parents too, we're just so thankful because there's so many things pulling kids' attention, whether it's their phones, whether it's something else, right?
I'm
But
sure you're battling that every day in class with the dang phones. It's always a constant battle, but they live on their phones. Their books are on their phones. Their interaction is they write their lyrics, they make their notes. It's all there. So it's kind of hard to
I
pull it
know.
away from them,
Imagine, I remember passing notes in class on a piece of paper. I mean, you
right?
usually have to be creative and be sneaky. I mean, gone are the days. But my thing is, it's kind of like, if they're playing the clarinet or if they're rocking on the bass or the drum set, they don't have time. They don't have the digits to be able to, go in their
Yeah.
phone, right? They have
Yeah.
to be engaged in the performing arts. And the cool thing too with all of these students too is we're getting them like OSHA trained. We're getting them some certifications in lighting and design so that our students not only have a safety background, but when they leave here or even during the summer, they can go to the Melody Tent. They can go to the some of our wonderful performing spaces here on Cape Cod and say, look, I've got these certifications. I'm a senior in high school now, or maybe I just graduated, and I know how to do this. Can I have a job? And that's really important too, right? That's our jobs to prepare these students for the future, no matter what direction they go in, right?
For sure. And they're always a great little skill for them to fall back on or maybe expand upon if they finding themselves in that realm. I'm really enjoying this conversation. The kids at Barnstable High School Night Auditorium, which is coming up. Tickets are only $10. And I just wanted to share the flyer from the show. Did one of the kids put this together or did you put it together for them? Do you let them do all of that stuff?
We do, but again, it's a chef's. You should see the beginning, the first ones. Don't this came out great, but some of our kids they throw things together. We'll do a T-shirt design contest, and you're like, really, that's what you came up with? But no, we're they did a good job, and I'm glad. We also have great faculty and staff. So like Megan O'Connor Vince, she's our music production teacher. And she has one of her degrees in art, so she helps our kids kind of talk about what is design, how do you feature things, and it's we're really a really cool department because the same kids that are going to be rocking on Thursday are the same kids that are going to be in Little Mermaid and our musical. Maybe they
Great.
play a bunch of them are in my orchestra, so I also teach orchestra, and they're playing classical music. I mean, these kids have really diverse repertoire, and they're eating it up all that different stuff. So I'm excited about it.
It's so impressive, and I love what you're doing at the high school level right now. I have had 2 or 3 musicians from Sturgis and also Barnstable play at my farmers market, and
Awesome.
it's an opportunity for them to engage the public, be in the community, not with the school sponsored something, but get a couple of bucks, play, and really hone their music skills, and I'm thoroughly impressed by the crop of high schoolers that are coming out right now, and I don't know if it's 'cause they had that time during COVID to noodle and play more or kind of focus on some of their skills or it's the Taylor Swift effect where they're writing lyrics. What do you think it is that's bringing them back to the arts? Because I think that they really are.
Well, I think the arts for this is maybe a deeper conversation for another day, but I think in society anyway, we're in a desert of community. Uh,
Mhm.
gone are for even adults or even our older generation, right? If you're not in the Elks Club or something like that, what's going on? Your community softball teams aren't really thriving, or even think about we do have community bands here on Cape, which are really lucky,
Yeah.
but there's not a lot of places, other than going to the bar or something to be in community. And I think
Yeah.
the kids recognize that and they realize that, yes, they're going to be glued to their phones. We're all addicted. I get it. But when they, I always tell
Pull up a
students who
guitar
are nervous,
tab.
exactly. Well, I always tell students who are nervous, especially when we get new, like our freshman unit, and they all, they're like shaking in their boots because now they're in a class with like seniors or something like that. I say, take a deep breath. You have water wings on. I'm here. I'm with you. But when they leave, they say, wait a second. Or when they go, a couple weeks later, now they have friends from another that they'll sit with at lunch. They get to be in these ensembles where they actually start to like have these community moments. We go on trips and competitions together, and they say, wait a second, this is valuable. And maybe it took losing some of that to realize that it's a valuable process. And I hope if there's any silver linings in some of these difficult things that happen, it can be that, no, the arts are not a infinite resource. You have to continue to advocate for them. You have to continue to raise them up, and you have to keep going out on a limb. And that's also why I'm thankful for the Mark Hennessy Foundation, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do this. It would not be happening in the same way. We wouldn't be having Nikki and the Barn Boys. We wouldn't be having some of these supports. And also, just from a financial standpoint, these things don't just happen. Um,
Right.
you know, we have students who can't afford instruments. We have students who they work all night to support their family, and they can't get a violin or an electric guitar or a drum set, and there's real costs. Or kids who want to go to Berkeley. We had about 5 audition in Berkeley, but if their parents don't
Amazing.
have, how are they supposed to do it? So
Yeah.
raising some of this money to pay for it is you're changing someone's life, especially for these kids.
Yeah, those opportunities are amazing. Lauren is watching. She said because the school system is working on lessening the arts and now people are craving it. We need outlets. And I definitely agree with that. Barnstable has always done a really good job of fostering that program. It's just a really incredible program. I love the fact that the students that have graduated are now coming back and giving back. So very amazing.
It was really cool. Henry Az, he's a
I
rapper from
love Henry.
Henry's awesome, and he flew all the way from
He's
LA. Yeah, yeah, just to come and perform with us. And he was so funny because he's like, "Oh, they can't kick me out, suspend me now," joking. But even he and I wish I had the clip ready to show. He said at the end of the performance, because he performed for the whole student body.
yeah,
Uh,
that's amazing.
yeah, just to say, hey, I needed this outlet, and this teacher here, Megan O'Connor Vince, was the reason I was able to stay in school, be focused, and now pursue what I love to do. And if I didn't have that, I don't know what. So they need to hear that, whether it's
Yeah.
shop class or anything. These courses keep them engaged and keep them coming to school. They
Well, it
have to
also
be.
helps that, Henry is working with Juicy J, his latest album. I'm like watching his videos. I was like, how is this my little boy? He's so good.
I know. I was backstage with him and Carlito, and all these people, and laughing. I'm like, man, I'm a big nerd. You know what I mean? I'm over here.
Right?
I'm the orchestra teacher, right? Like, I'm like, hey, what about Beethoven? But no, I'm like, you guys are way cooler than me. Like, my Instagram following is nothing compared to you. But they're really great people to work with. They're great musicians,
But you
and
gave them that foundation. That is what has to feel good. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, it is. And there's nothing. Education is always a roller coaster, and you're not, like we talked about this morning. You
Yeah.
walk into the building, there's a million things happening. Kids are crying, laughing, having the best day of their life, the worst day of their life, all in one
Right.
time. But there's nothing more rewarding than when the student calls back, say, "Hey, can we grab a cup of coffee?" They've already graduated, and they get to talk to you about what they're doing, and sometimes they say thank you, and you say, "Look, you know what, you did that." I facilitated the conversation, but we also need to honor some of these kids who are working hard, and that's what Thursday night's going to be as well. Is that they're a lot of times it's always all these kids and they have nothing to do, but kids are doing really impressive things, and they deserve to be celebrated. And if it's enjoyable to listen to, we might as well have a good, all have a good time together. So I think
Yeah,
it's
it's
a lot of fun.
Encore Night. It's happening over at the Night Auditorium, 6 p.m. Tickets are just $10. If you I'm gonna post this on my, Facebook page too, just so if people wanna
Thanks.
scan the QR code. If you wanna make a donation, please, I suggest that you get with the Mark Hennessy Foundation. They do an amazing job of spreading the love to all of our musicians, wherever they are, young, big, small, wherever you are in your music world and tour. If you need something, they support it. And I absolutely love the Mark Hennessy Foundation. So please definitely donate to that. But come and enjoy some tunes. Watch Nikki and the Barn Boys and watch our students thrive. I love it.
You
Elijah,
know,
anything else that you want to leave us with?
well, I just want to leave you one thing about the Mark Hennessy Foundation. They asked me, they called and said, "Well, what do you need?" And I said, "Well, we need sustainability to support our students." They say, "Well, let's put this concert together, and we want to help you every step of the way." And also, Barnstable, we believe in inclusion for all learners, no matter what their ability level is, and we have an integrated program with a wonderful orchestra of kids with different abilities and special needs. And these kids needed instruments. And Mark Hennessy came in and they had a check and they said, well, we're gonna help you get instruments for these students. And we have kids on the spectrum, we have kids with Down syndrome and wheelchairs, and they deserve to play music too. And the fact that an organization just comes in and does that without having all this red tape, and then they value the important things. And I'm just so thankful because that's not always the case in the world.
Oh, Elijah, thank you so much. And we appreciate what you're doing with the program. It's really pretty amazing. I'm looking forward to some good tunes. We'll talk
Yeah.
soon, okay?
Have a great time, and thank you so much for highlighting what we're doing. It's important, right? Barnstable is thriving in a community where things sometimes feel, we might be losing the arts in other places. We are thriving, and it's because of this community and it's because of people like you. So thank you.
Thank you, Elijah. I'll let you get back to the students.
Yeah, well, I'd rather hang out with you, but that's fine. No, I'm just kidding. All right, have a great day.
Bye. Oh, I'm really excited for that show. And I know that the kids have been working really hard. And if you've not gotten a chance to check out Nikki and the Barn Boys, she's pretty fantastic. Here we are into March. We've got March Madness, St. Patrick's Day, cherry blossoms. Baseball is right around the corner. I did not watch the Oscars. Daylight savings time is happening. Allergies are coming for us. So I've got a couple of things that I'm running out for. I've got to go tour the Worcester Food Hub, which I'm very excited for. I've got the Farmers Market Conference that is coming up this week. And we are accepting applications right now for our farmers market, which happens in Mashpee Commons. Great place, great community event where we have live music every single week. We are just so lucky to have such an amazing community doing cool things. If you've got something cool that you want to share with us, if you've got something you're like, yes, Stephanie, you need to talk about it, you need to have this guest on, please just reach out to me. You can always email Stephanie@stephanieviva.com or just sign up. I will throw the link at the bottom of this conversation to book a time to chat with us and talk about all the amazing things that are going on in your community, regardless of where you are. All right. Have a great Monday. Have a great week. And we'll talk soon. Bye.